Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. This is Travis Semulin Sowers, and we're jumping into a best of 3 traditional draft on MTG Arena. Chat, say hello to YouTube. I think you could make an argument for the Orator versus the Introduction to Annihilation. This is a pretty crappy opener pack. But I certainly don't mind playing Silverquill or Lorehold, and there's nothing here that's powerful enough that I'm going to feel like unhappy if I don't get to play it. So I think we're just going to go with the Orator and see where this go. Boop. All right, so here we got Guiding Voice, Professor of Zoomancy, Expanded Anatomy, Negate. I really like Guiding Voice in white decks. I don't know for sure that we're going to be playing white. I speculated at the beginning of this set that Guiding Voice was going to be the best white common, and I think it actually is. The problem is I think everybody else knows that. I guess you could argue for taking the Expanded Anatomy in that case, eh? God, I could even see an argument for Cram Session. This is incredibly open. I think I'm just going to take the Guiding Voice and see where this goes. This still doesn't make us white. Well. It's early enough I could build around it. I kind of feel like Bilbo right now. Like, after all, why shouldn't I draft it? I do really like Lorehold. It doesn't do anything right now. I'm not unaware of that, but it could do something. It could be remarkably relevant, is what I'm trying to say. If we just build around it a little bit. Kind of grown-up decision time. I think we're supposed to take the Elemental Summoning. We could play it in this deck, but we may also need to get off of this. Right? And this is a summoning that, again, we could play with this deck, but if we need to get out and have a backdoor somewhere else, we can. There's still a lot of red and white cards here, but none of them are great. And I do like having access to summons. Oh, come on. That was a good pun. We even have an emote for that one. All right, so if we got to get out, what are we getting out to? Silverquill would be a possibility. I get that the Tome Shredder works quite well with Quintorius, and it does, but I'm not willing to force that this much. The packs have been quite meh. I think Zemon is the best card here. I also think there's an off chance that we could get into that Dimir Spells archetype that I like quite a bit, and a key card for that is Pest Summonings. This is about 2 picks early to be taking it. But I'm just going to see if that happens to be open, because we've got 2 cards for it. Yeah, we're getting cut to ribbons on red-white, so I don't think we can do red-white. And things are also not looking great for Dimir unless you want to take a Curate here, and I don't think that I do. We may need to play green, in which case a Leyline Invocation isn't the worst. Then the Pest is not bad, but I don't want to be taking it here. I'm getting like some blue-green signals. Even though these cards aren't amazing, they're certainly playable. Yeah, Quandrix is looking open. Witherbloom might be. Well, there's a Serpentine Curve. That could put us into Quandrix and or the Dimir plan. A sequence? What is Emergent Sequence? Oh yeah, the Splash Land. That's not a bad one either. But I think I'm going to take this curve and see where this takes us. Because it's probably taking us to not playing these cards. This could be our chance to do Dimir spells. Because this is where you're supposed to get the pest summonings for it. What a weird start if that's the deck we get into. Because I'm short playables, but there was a cram session. If that wheels, I'm on board. We also don't have any removal. Like, you need to pick that up too. But I'm thinking we can play the pest summoning already if we're in blue-green. None of these cards are good, so we're not going to miss any of them. But what the heck do you take? Like, I don't care about any of these cards. I guess if we're straight up Quandrix, I could play a Vortex Runner and not be incredibly embarrassed. If we think there's still some possibility we could get back into red-white, I could take the start from scratch, and it's okay. Although still not great. I guess I'll still default to that. But I still feel a bit lost. Okay, Squirrel Colony's pretty good, but I like Negate a little bit better. Oh, we're definitely short on playables. But if I can figure out what I'm supposed to be drafting, I think we could get going. And it is looking like it's probably Quandrix, which is not my favorite thing to draft. There's still like some halfway possible Lorehold deck here. I have no idea what we're supposed to be doing at this seat so far. I've also got way too many lessons and not enough learning. We've seen no indication that black's open, which means one of two things. One, it could be incredibly open this way, in which case we'd probably go for the Dimir Spells deck. Or B, we're just not going to see black cards, which means I can't really pair any of this. And I've already got to decide. Like, we could take Paolo and try to keep the Lorehold Dream alive, or we could take Burying Books and just kind of double down on this blue stuff. I have absolutely no interaction. I suppose there's an off chance we're playing Prismari. Because the Igneous Inspiration would be nice with the elemental summoning we already have and the start from scratch. I guess Temur is a possibility. I kind of want that Igneous Inspiration out of this pack and see if I can make something work with it. It's interaction, which is at least something. It'd be really weird to splash this, though. But what if we weren't splashing? What if we just had solid removal? And the answer was that we're kind of Jeskai-ish. Because these are not reasons to be green. They're fine cards. They're not reasons to be green. But we're starting to get reasons to be red. I don't know how these white cards fit into it, if at all. But like, we could play the Tome Shredder. We've got a Serpentine Curve. Serpentine Curve counts cards that are in exile, so you don't mind eating your graveyard. This is starting to look like we're doing something. And this pack kind of makes me regret all of those decisions. Although the Artist can be good if you're in this style of deck. I don't think we can get into black-green from here. We could take the Inkling Summonings. What does this look like? Like Lorehold splashing for a curve and a negate? I could play that. It means these are out. But this doesn't look too bad. I need playables, though. I straight up need playables. I think we're going to have to jam the Artist. So red, white, splash, curve, and maybe negate. Means we could play this Rise of Extus. We'd also be pretty interested in a Pilgrim. I don't think we can be looking at Mardu currently. We don't really have any black cards that would be worth playing. But Rise of Extus is certainly worth playing, and it could just be white. Quintorius also isn't looking amazing right now, although playable adjacent. Rise is kind of a combo with Quint. I think I'm ready to go with red-white. We need to get some kind of signal that we should be doing red-white things quickly. Like the return pass caller. There's also a home slice in that. But right now it's kind of looking like we may not even need the blue. I think we've just sided ourselves into this, which is going to make the artist significantly worse. But there's an expel. All right, Lorehold it is. Let's go. I'm incredibly short playables, which is a problem. Especially considering I was trying to get into Lorehold last pack and wasn't able to. But I think we're probably going to be interested in the effigy here. Normally I'd want the Zephyr boots, but I just don't have enough bodies. I do have a splash if I want it. Just the curve is starting to look less powerful now. You could sort of splash for an invocation if you had to. Yeah, there's a whole pack left, but we need like 12 cards. That's a lot of cards to need. Like, I don't really want to play Enthusiastic Study with what we have currently, but I may have to. Okay, second Guiding Voice is nice. That could let us pick up a few more lessons. Yeah, there's some medium combos with Quintorius. Our removal suite has gone from non-existent to at least looking okay. I'm going to take the Campus Guide here. We need creatures, we need 2 drops, and there's some possibility we will be splashing here. And it would technically make a Reconstruct History a little better. Are we going to end up playing a Relic Sloth? Probably. Not a huge fan of the Relic Sloth, but sometimes I've seen people put Elemental Summonings in their main deck, and that's kind of the same jam. Oh, what a gift. Welcome to the team, first year. I think we're competing with somebody for Lorehold, but I also think if we'd stuck on the blue-black plan, it might have been worse. Okay, let's open a good black removal spell and splash it. So we've currently got Study, Sloth that we could play, and a black splash would be pretty easy. I'd really hate to splash this thing, but I suppose we could. And Relic Sloths for everybody. So what if we splashed a blue card? Isn't Relic Sloth a strict upgrade? It is, but if you ever need to block with it, there's a problem. Because we could take Rip Apart here and it'd be pretty good. Do we think this deck has the possibility to get to 8 mana? Because if it does, we've got a card that says win the game. More or less. I think this is worth a splash. And I think we're going to play the Artist and try to get a few treasures off of it and make that work. I think I can get behind this. This is kind of a plan. So we could take an Introduction to Annihilation and probably get it and use it, which I dig. I'm also incredibly interested in a Jeskai colored Campus. I think I need the first intro more. Hey, that makes the Guiding Voices pretty good. I'm digging that. I would have been happy with a Chaos Warp or a Spirit Summonings or even a Pilgrim. But this with Guiding Voice is pretty spicy. Okay. We got a kill condition. This is coming together nicely. Now, normally, I would want the Eager first year, but if we're serious about playing this Magma Opus, I want to have the Pilgrim, and I think we're serious about playing it. Afternoon, FTK. Doing good. How you doing? I mean, do we want a card like this in our red-white deck? I may not need that Magma Opus anymore. It's going to be a little hard to fit in here currently unless I wheel a duel. I guess if you think about it, one island gives me 3 sources. We'd have to be incredibly careful about the Stormkiln Artist. We've got playables in the sideboard. Like, you can play Enthusiastic Study and Relic Sloth. Wow, I want the Pilgrim and the Campus and the Biblioplex Assistant. I think the Pilgrim's probably a little more important to the game plan. I don't hate having a Rip Apart, too. I was going to be happy to see this. I think the Magma Opus may be a sideboard plan. I don't understand why the Frost Trickster's still there, but like this at least gives us playables. And we can decide whether we want to main deck something bad or play this Magma Opus. Because I'd kind of have to do it with one island, which is a little risky. But if you think about it, Thrill of Possibility is kind of a combo with the Magma Opus. Well, I don't mind having access to a Defend the Campus at the very least. It isn't premium, but that wasn't where you would get it premium. That was like with 4 cards left in the pack. It cannot be premium and still be good. Remember, there's only one premium common in every color these days. I can't cycle it for treasure, because that's not what the card does. It doesn't cycle, it just creates a treasure. I think I like bringing it in against a slower deck. Because this deck has ways to win. It'll beat you down and then get the late game going with Quintorius. You guys want to see me do the fun thing, right? I want to do the fun thing. I'll take it out against a fast deck. That's what we'll do. Like, if you're not going to do the fun things, what's the point in bloody streaming? I've kind of started to like a particular island from Theros. This one just has cool art. I like it. We're really leaning on this dude to do some fixing, but we'll see what we can do with him. I never use the Chandra sleeves anymore, and they're pretty cool. Let's use them. All right, we should be good to go for our Stream Raiders battle if you guys have been placing units. So let's do that and then get this party started, shall we? Got to get our units leveled up somehow. Because I still need a ton of gold. I had so much streamer gold, and then I used all of it. Talamar with the kills, Samsa with the assists, rewards for Abe, Rob, Sneaky, and Scar. And now the gold to be rolling in. Go get him, Chair. Oop. All right, this will at least be fun, and I'll be a grown-up and take the Magma Opus out if we're playing against a very aggressive opponent. I don't necessarily want to be a grown-up, but I will be if I have to. It'll work. I wouldn't say it's great, but the first white gets us the second white. We've got some mana going, and we've got an answer to an early threat. Ideally, we just find a white source and could go Pilgrim into Voice and get the party started. One duel really would have been handy here. But sometimes you just got to grab a leg when you can. Is that where it came from, FTK? Grotag bug catchers? We saw one, Stompy, and I didn't take it. It would have been nice to have. I like our position so far. Okay, now I finally know where that text comes from, which is good. Magma Opus looking very strong here. Don't shock my guy. Thanks. Yeah, it was a clutch play. It's exactly what we wanted to do with it. I'll save this one for later. What's a good cat thing? You're a good cat thing. Yes, you are. Yeah. See, Magma Opus won us that game, so clearly I should have kept it. We have no idea what they're doing, other than red and black cards they drafted, I guess. I mean, also they got mana screwed. It is what it is. But there's at least a target for start from scratch, which is swell. I don't like defend the campus is something we could consider bringing in. Negate if we're insane. A Fuming Effigy if we're worried about blocking. Like if we're scared they're trying to aggro us out, we could take out the artist and the Magma Opus and bring in like Enthusiastic Study and Effigy. But I don't think I'm that scared of that. I'm guessing they're a Mardu deck that just missed their planes and didn't have a Magma Opus. Yeah, we've got more ways to deal with that artifact than they do artifacts, presumably. But I'd rather you start from scratch on it, because we've got more opportunities to see that, given that it's a lesson and all. And I want to take advantage of our lessons, because we don't have that many. Like, we've got the 2 pest summonings, but I can't even do anything with them. I guess they're there to discard the Thrilling Discovery. Or what is it we've got? Thrill of Possibility. Everybody grab a leg. Yeah, we had some Twitch drops going on when we were streaming Stream Raiders earlier. The Jerry Mage skin is pretty cool. All right, there's one landers I'll keep, but this is not one of them, sadly. This can be. And we've got an excellent use for Magma Opus. Because I don't need it right now, and it can just go hang out there. I wonder if they're actually just Rakdos. We're going to shuffle it back in, Rob. Like, I can draw it again before we'd have the option to cast it, right? Generally speaking, I don't want an 8-drop in my opener. All right, so what are the chances we thrill a Plains and a Tome Shredder? I was thinking if we drew another Plains, we'd bin both of them, but I think I like this line. Oh, it's only one card. Oh, how awesome is that? I've been playing Thrill of Discovery so long, I forgot that this is just better. It's so good. What's up, Jimmy? Punt? What's the punt? If you think you want to keep an 8-drop in your opener, I don't know that I can help you, my friend. This gives me the opportunity to, A, get in for some damage when this wasn't anyway, and have a double block up for next turn. Although it looks like they may want to block. I wonder if they want to block so they can use their first strike trick on it. Whatever they're doing, you go right ahead. Opus now shuffled back in. Their first strike trick won't even get them through this. I guess if they've got another one, it will, but I can kind of live with that. Okay. You got a 1/1. They sadly didn't get to make a mark. We've determined that spirit tokens are named Mark. That's awkward. Need a lesson, yo. Okay. You can have it. I wouldn't say I'm thrilled about it, but you can have it. I'm gonna have to Lightning Helix an unwilling ingredient. At least I think I am. And that's a combo. Color me impressed. Exile both my dudes. That's just value, yo. What color is impressed? Orange. We have speculated before that there's a Rakdos sacrifice deck, and it does not surprise me to see them getting value out of it. Port State got pretty good. We can begin bringing the beats next turn. Oh, now we on Chump Patrol. Main thing we need to make sure here is we don't die to something stupid like a mascot interception. But I can always Lightning Helix to gain 3 if I have to. Rise of Exodus makes us another token. Just buying back the Pilgrim makes us another token. So, like, we're stable now. I'm trying to decide if we just want to send this face, and I think we probably do. We ought to be okay here. We've got an instant speed blocker if we need it. All right, looks like that was good enough. We take these. I suspect we are good enough for our Stream Raiders battle now. So let us battle. Oop. That's a great question for somebody who designed those cards. I suspect they thought Lorehold Excavation was overpowered and nerfed it towards the end. And they nerfed it so much that it's not quite good enough for every deck. It's an incredibly powerful Magic card, though. Like, Mana Sinks Unlimited are just something I love. They can take you a long way. Jimmy with the kills, Scar with the assists, rewards for Chandamere, Jimmy, and Scar. Cool. Let's get some more fat loots, yo. Alright, this is a defensive zone. Y'all know how to handle defensive zones. And yeah, if I still get tank scrolls when I'm placing these, I would never place the lesser tank unless it was on cooldown. Actually, yeah, you did, dude. Congrats. I mean, wall of tanks with archers behind them essentially is good enough. But like stuff like rogues isn't really something you'd want to play in a defensive battle. That's close to reasonable. If we were on the draw and this was a mountain, I think I'd keep this hand. But we're not, and it's not, so I'm not. My suspicion is I don't want to get a land with the campus guide, and that would appear to be correct. So even though we could use it to get blue, I don't think we want to do that right now, because we're a bit mana heavy. And only getting heavier. Okay. That helps some. Because, like, this mountain is not particularly valuable. This one is, but that one's not. You're excused. Obviously. This one's from Kaladesh. That was a great set. This one's from one of the Zendikar sets, and there's never been a good Zendikar set. Okay. I see where you're going with this. Does that mean I actually do want to draw an island now? Because I think it might. Here, just for Rob. Multiple choice is one of the best rares in the set. If you were keeping track at home. Yowza. Show me what you got. Acceptable. I mean, I still wouldn't say great, but acceptable. It's pretty good. BFC was not good. Source, I have played it. But different strokes for different folks, I suppose. I didn't particularly care for it, but that doesn't mean that you can't particularly care for it, you know? Battle for Zendikar had the problem in that, well, I guess I'm thinking primarily of Oath of the Gatewatch, but green basically didn't exist in Battle for Zendikar. And then you got to Oath, where the only thing you could do was draft black-white. Oath helped a lot if you really enjoyed drafting black and white, because those were the only two colors that were in it. But my perspective may also be skewed because I played a lot of that set. Is this thing an instant? It is. So I guess we're not technically dead. The Eldrazi stuff was pretty neat. I still think we're mostly dead here, and there's an argument to kill the Muse instead. But I'm like, we've got 2 Expels in the deck. With the Muse tapped, I could conceivably draw... I could conceivably get the... we could just draw a bunch of lands. I was thinking something, draw Expel. There's nothing to get that does anything here, right? The elemental summoning doesn't help. I guess we can rummage and see if we hit something, because I've still got a lightning helix, so let's do that. Oh, this is what I want to exile. Sure, we'll exile that. Guiding Voice doesn't help either, because if I drew the Expel off of it, I wouldn't have the mana to cast it, but I could still hit the Lightning Helix. That is basically dead, though. We did what we could. And we got a little bit more information. They have Iberian bugs. But multiple choice is freaking brutal. It's going to be hard for us to interact with that. They've got a decent amount of burn, too. I'm trying to decide if I want to defend the campus, and I think the answer is probably yes. If that's the case, then what do I don't want? Well, splashing negate would be pretty difficult on this mana base. I think being aware that they have an explosive welcome is half the battle. Like, add in another duel or two, and I think we could talk about it, but we don't have that. I mean, what I want to cut is the artist, but I kind of can't cut the artist and keep the opus in, and I want to keep the opus in. That means I should probably just cut a 2-drop that can't block their, that can't attack profitably past the first turn and can't block Prismari Apprentices. Like, I don't think the 2-drops are what matters here. I mean, Explosive Welcome is going to be good if they can get the mana to cast it, and it looks like they can get the mana to cast it. But there's, like, I can't really do much about that. I'm probably going to Lightning Helix that. So I think just doing it now is probably the right call. All right, let's rip you apart. And we should do this before they counter. I expect we'll draw 2 lands naturally, given the fullness of time. And we did. Good for us. I can't think of a reason not to block it. They obviously have something. Okay. I'm probably rising that, but I'm thinking about the Lightning Helix might be a more valuable thing to get back so that I could have a turn where, because the Past Caller could in theory answer that. And the 3 life could be incredibly relevant with Explosive Welcome in that deck. I'd also like to have multiple creatures in play so that if they cast multiple choice, we can get value out of it. Like, I'm halfway tempted to just Past Caller here, and I think that's the right call. I don't see a reason not to attack first. Because if they multiple choice while I have a Past Caller in play, I'm pretty happy about that. If they counter it, I'm pretty unhappy, but... There's a question of whether we block or not. But I think the answer is, at the end of the day, is yes. I mean, who doesn't like pasta? I like pasta. Okay, fine. I'll kill it. Nah, this is what I brought this in for. Nothing wrong with Pastafarians. Praise his noodly appendage. Explosive Welcome didn't kill us. It 2-for-1'd us, but it didn't kill us. And I think short of the multiple choice, we've kind of ground through most of what we're worried about from them. But this draw kind of illustrates why I was not super interested in running Negate against them. It is also worth noting that our first game was a mulligan. But I think we've still got game against this. What's up, Wallet? How you be? Use they, please, Drake. They have a few cards. They've got about the same number I do. I'm sorry about your radishes. Okay. Awkward, but acceptable. I don't need this guy right now. We got some burn to leverage too. It's okay, Drake, and I understand that it can be difficult. They have seen Opus. I understand that it can be difficult for non-native English speakers to grasp that, but it's a pretty easy thing to do that makes Magic more inclusive, which I'm all in favor of. There's some things that I'm working on too. A big one for me was considering dude to be non-gendered, but it's gendered. And I still struggle with that sometimes. So I'm not picking on you. I'm just trying to, I want this to be an environment where everybody feels welcome. And I want this to be a game where everybody feels welcome. I didn't want it to stop on my upkeep. I wanted it to stop on theirs. Okay, it did. They just had a stop set on my upkeep. Some languages don't even have gendered pronouns, which I thought was cool as heck. But instead of he or she, you have Han. Now, we hadn't seen their magma opus, but they showed us theirs and we showed them ours. So there you go. I have to say learning a Latin-based language from English is hard. I can believe that. Well, you could still have, I mean, German has a neutral one, right? Like, der, die, I can't remember it. That was a magma opus in response to a magma opus. It was pretty exciting. I think this is about as good as Das, that's it. So like the concept is there. You could just not refer to people with gendered words. Yeah, I know. And that would be basically the same as me saying, rather than referring to my opponent as he or she, say it. I'm not suggesting that we do that, right? There's parallel. I understand where that fits in. I'm just saying the concept of things that don't have a gender is there. And over time, that could be brought into when referring to people. Yeah, but they kind of were, like pronouns were gendered in English, right? Like a long time ago, we had non-gendered pronouns, thee and thou, for example, but those fell out of favor. But that doesn't mean that they can't come back, or like initially starting to use things like they to refer to a person, a singular person, felt weird to me, but I've gotten more used to it now. So I'm not saying that you start using das to refer to people. No one wants to be called an it in English. It's a hot topic in the United States too, but I think it's one that's worth working on. What's up, Aloy? Good to see you. So like they was a good answer in English, but the first time I heard somebody suggest that to me, I'm like, that seems crazy. That's not what they means. But over time, words change in meaning. Well, English could be better too. Like again, when I started studying some Finnish and learned that they don't have gendered pronouns, you just can't refer to a person and include their gender with a pronoun. Yeah, interesting time for you to show up. Well, it does. We just use they. It's easy. I've heard some people suggest using they and zim, which I'm also entirely not opposed to. I just got used to they, and it works. So I'm gonna keep using it. As a non-binary Butson and Jerbuttony. Buttspot was a great addition to this stream. I would say we have a fun and casual spot, but I honestly believe that if you have a platform and you can help make things more inclusive, that you should do that. So there's a few things that I feel passionate about that I'm going to talk about, even though my platform is small. Magic is for everybody. Video games is for everybody. Let's do the thing. I still stand by there's three people that your gender matters to. That's you, your sexual partner, and your physician. The rest of it, why does it freaking matter? We did a dungeon run earlier, Cannon. I think I may do another one before I end the stream, though. So we're going to do some, but I did about 2.5 hours of dungeon runs and wanted to get a draft in for the day. Bloody multiple choice. Oh god, that card is so good. As if they needed the Halls of Oracles to go with it. So some bad news, we probably losing this game. This displeases the Travis. Well, could he stabilize? Music turns off abruptly. I'm going to die to burn spells now, unless we have Lightning Helix in the top couple cards. We're going to have to make the play we can to try to stabilize. This is it. Why would you do that? That's so rude. It's incredibly rude. I need big stabilization energy. They can basically take us out of this game if they put the hall counter anywhere but there. Now, if they got their first strike trick, we're dead anyway, but I could sort of imagine stabilizing from here. I wouldn't say it's incredibly likely, but it's like theoretically possible. If I rise this and get a blocker, that may be better, because they can't just kill me with a removal spell for this. So what would we need to try to stabilize here? I'd probably intro to Annihilation, which I don't love. I don't think I can take that. This means we're planning to chump here and block here, then past Caller and get back the Rise, chump again. Okay. I had a plan. It's all dead now, as am I. The 2-mana 2/2s were just not good enough against them. Unfortunate. That said, we've still got a game left. We could at least get us a 2-1 out of this, which I would take, yeah. All right, let's do our battle. I'm going to take a quick potty break, and then we'll see if we can get that 2-1. I'll be right back. Must have been a pretty epic battle, huh? I don't quite know what that means, Drake. I learned enough German to get a D in my class, which is what I wanted to just get through it. But I can understand that it's difficult. I also believe that it's doable. Dream Raiders appears to be having some difficulty here, which is fine. We can do the battle later and just finish our draft. I'll check it again when we sideboard. Stream Raiders has a lot going on right now and a ton of people playing in a beta, so it wouldn't surprise me if they have some hiccups. Bought some cheese and chorizo chips. They taste like chorizo. That's an unusual combination. Why is that bad? I mean, we just burninate this, right? It gets us 5 damage this turn. Like, that's not an insignificant amount of damage. Spell you. Hit for another 4. Like, so far, this is looking great. Got a combo with Thrill of Possibility now. That does sound adorable. Well, that sounds like it's just your opinion, man. But can confirm cats are good. Does not look like it's up. Oh, okay. It looks like it did finally come up for me. So we can do the battle after this. I feel like you got something if you make that attack. But I'm willing to let him have something on this, not the other way around. Okay, I like where this is going. Yeah, I like where this is going a lot. That was an incredibly aggressive draw. All right, let's try Stream Raiders again and see if they've got themselves sorted. She's very powerful. We're a little overpowered for this match too, but we take these. It does appear that we were replaying the fight, but that's okay. We'll just win it twice. I am going to do another Stream Raiders dungeon run, so I'm going to need y'all to stick around for that. Because we need your units. We got to level 11 today, and I would like to get farther. Nope, sorry, Drake, you got to stay awake. Jimmy with the kills, Ethan with the assists. Rewards for nobody. No. Stompy, Wizard, Jimmy, Samsa, and Rob. It's pretty fun, Shade. It's a little buggy, though. It's a little buggy. It's a little buggy. I know, Drake. I'm teasing. Yeah, it's still a little buggy, boys and girls. We'll do what we can when we can. No, I don't want to resculpt in the deck. Thank you, though. We didn't really see what they were doing other than playing Witherbloom creatures. I'm sure they're on it. What are you getting done? Well, I thought we might be killing this, but I think we're going to be killing this first, as that is the bigger threat. Dang it, Bobby. I need the white source. I mean, that does sound scary, Drake. I hope that you come through that successfully. I mean, we're making this block. They're getting a token. We got a lot of stuff we need to answer, and we're not going to be able to answer it particularly quickly. This lets me have Expel and start from scratch next turn, which I think is our likely out. Well, that's good news, man. I hope the surgery goes well. I don't know why I wouldn't block that. Oh, I guess that's why I wouldn't block it. I have found, generally speaking, that if you have the ability to play it on one, it's pretty dang good. I do think the answer is yes, the 4-mana version is better, but I've also been pretty happy playing it out as the 1/1, because you'll usually get to make a pest and gain 4 life and deal 4 damage. That's not the case for me, Wei. At least in my experience, I've been pretty happy doing it the other way too. If it's in your opener on the play, I'd almost always play it out. Oh yeah, the blue side of the blue-red Dean and the green side of the green-blue Dean are pretty weak. But Valentin will do some work. Like, it can also depend on your hand. I've had times where I had this in the opener with a good 2, 3, 4, 5 and didn't have double green. I'm like, we're just doing it. Yeah, but putting lands in your deck ensures land drops. I don't want my rare to do that for me. All right, you're going to have to deal with this stuff pretty quickly because I'm going to try to kill you. Boop. A victory for Upfish. All right, I still feel like we could have gotten the 3-0 with this, but like, I'll take the 2-1. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Chat, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTubers, I am sorry that you may never know what happens with this Stream Raiders battle. Because I think the battle still didn't take. Yeah, it still won't even let me in it. We finished it. We did it. We don't know who got the rewards. Okay, but good news. Good news. All right, YouTubers, if you would like to watch the drafting live, you can do so at twitch.tv/Semulin. Hope to see you there.